Welcome to Science Explorers. We put the wonder back in the world. Hello, and welcome to A Moment of Science. I'm here with my friend, Electric Evan. And what we're going to do today is talk about things from yesteryear. We are going to make cast fossils, and that's what dinosaurs left behind. So what we're going to do is those imprints are what scientists need to document. So we're going to make our own cast fossil from our own dinosaurs that we brought with us today. So Evan, what we're going to do is we're going to take this out, but first you're going to mix together our cement. And this is just plaster of Paris. So we're going to mix it up, and it needs to be a consistency like pancakes. Did you ever make pancakes at home, Evan?
Yes.
Okay, so that's very good. And you want to do the sides, make sure, because you don't want pancakes with any kind of powders in them. So what we're going to do is while he's doing that, we're just going to make the imprint, which is similar to what scientists find when they're out exploring. And then, oh, that's excellent, Evan. What we're going to do, excellent, excellent. Can you do me a favor and pour that in there for me? Just like you're baking a cake, but what we're doing is we're going to pour it in, keep pouring. We are covering the fossil. Very good. And you don't want to dig down too far because you don't want to mess up your documentation. So here we go. Very good.
What's this
Okay,
one?
yep, that's good. And this is how you make your cast fossil. It has to go for about 24 hours before we look and see if it worked. So we'll just put that aside. But this is one that I made yesterday. Can you take that out for me? This was done with seashells. And you can see that you have to just, sometimes you can use a brush, or sometimes can you use that? And just kind of try to get the sand out of the crevices. Exactly. Very good. And this has been your moment of science with Jupiter Jen and Electric Evan signing off. Thanks for joining us.
Their motto is, if it's not fun, we're not doing it. They're Science Explorers, Jupiter Jen and Solar Sarah. Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
Dynamite Diane.
Wow. I love that name. What is Science Explorers, Jen?
Science Explorers is a hands-on science company for children. We started about 15 years ago trying to get out and get kids excited about science. So it's all inquiry-based, all hands-on.
We put the wonder back into the world, and that's really what you do. What areas do you cover?
Oh my gosh, we cover 7 counties locally here, but we're all over the country at this point doing programming in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Rochester, New York, Westerly, Rhode Island, Chicago. So we're moving and shaking.
Now, when you say programming, exactly what do you provide?
Oh my gosh, we do after-school clubs, birthday parties, summer science camps, and classroom visitations, where we go into the classroom, work with the teacher and the students, and get everybody excited.
Okay, now you are the founder and the CEO of Science Explorers. And Sarah, you are the program director with the Sparks Foundation. What is the Sparks Foundation?
Yes, we started the nonprofit Sparks Foundation so that we could work with the schools with partnerships. We have a lot of corporate partnerships that we work with, and we've been lucky enough to be able to go into schools, work with the teachers like Jen said, kind of work with them and their curriculum, and be able to bring this great hands-on experience into the school that doesn't always happen just because of how swamped teachers are, and we know that it's a lot and it's messy, so we bring the mess and we clean up the mess too, which is always nice.
That is nice, and the kids love being a part of the
yes.
mess.
Oh yes.
Absolutely.
Now you have some great partnerships with the Sparks Foundation.
We do. We started about 10 years ago with the Amatech Foundation, and they have been critical to bringing hands-on science to children that would never have the benefit of participating in it. You know, Science Explorers is great. It's kind of like piano lessons. It's after school. We do the after-school clubs, but the Sparks Foundation is able to help other children who can't afford the piano lessons. And, you know, it's a tough economy right now, so there's a lot of them out there, but we try to help as many as we can.
Now you really see children's faces light up when you do what you do. Tell me about that.
I think the greatest thing is that you have kids who, you know, maybe struggle in school, and that's not always the case, but if you have those kids that kind of have a little bit of difficulty sitting in their seat for that extended period of time, oh man, Science Explorers is their thing. I mean, they just love coming in, getting in elbow deep with a great science experiment. So we really see some kids shine in our programs that we offer.
And you have seen kids open up that normally might not have opened up and then excel in other areas because of what you introduce them to through science.
I also think another thing to say is that also the girls, you know, which sometimes we have these girls who say, oh, I don't want to touch that, it's a little messy, or, you know, and we respect them, but we say, you know, it's a gross kind of cool, and I think you might like it. So within minutes, they're kind of wide-eyed, like, wow, and they get into it. And so saying that this is fun and girls can do this too is also a key element.
And another thing to piggyback on that, Solar Sarah brought to us, we put little name tags on the children, Solar Sarah, Jupiter Jen, but we also now put little tags on the back of their cards to say what kind of science we're studying that week. So if they're chemists, when they come into the classroom, can you be a chemist? Well, they don't know what a chemist is, so we kind of brainstorm on what a chemist might do, and then they're chemists. So then the next time we come in and we're going to be marine biologists, and you ask them, can you be a marine biologist? They're like, yes. They don't know what one is, but they're sure because they were chemists the last time we were there, they can certainly be a marine biologist. So it's an empowering. Our vehicle is science, but it's really about allowing children to investigate and without the constraints of, you know, don't do this. We're not going to put a shark on the table if they can't touch it, which, you know, when you're in a classroom setting for 8 hours a day with, you know, as a teacher, you have to have order. But we're not going to put anything on that table that they can't touch when we put it on that table, because we're science explorers. We touch everything.
That's right. So, and if it's not fun,
we're not doing
it.
What age group is this for?
With our Sparks Foundation, we kind of right now are hitting kindergarten to 3rd grade, but we hit anywhere up to about 5th grade, 6th grade with our.
And we can with the foundation go further. It's the Amatech Foundation's parameters are for primary, but we're seeking a 4th grade sponsor because that's where all the testing occurs, the PSSAs, which are critical for school funding, federal and state funding, and it helps the kids. It helps them. I was brought up to Rochester, New York to specifically work with the 4th graders to get them ready for their New York testing.
And as you get older, you can get into the more, you know, nitty-gritty of the science experiment and get in depth with it. So it definitely can span. We can do it on a very, you know, small scale with the kindergartners and just getting them excited about science to then getting to the older kids and really getting into the terminology and the scientific process and all that stuff. So.
And what you do is being embraced by so many people. Once you go there, it's like igniting.
Oh, it absolutely is. We're like rock stars. Solar Sarah. I mean, I'm telling you, she almost needs an entourage to keep her safe when she goes into the schools. And it's just so neat. The kids, you know, when I first started doing this and I'd come home and I'd tell my children, oh, got to ask for my autograph today, and they'd be like, oh my gosh. But it's getting the kids excited about science, and how wonderful is that?
It is wonderful. Now, you have a website, too. What is that?
Ooh, ScienceExplorers.com.
What are we going to find there?
You're going to find our schedules, our program descriptions, our 800 number, and you'll be finding the experiments that we're going to be doing on the show.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a small plug for our Sparks Foundation, because we do have sparksfoundation.org is our nonprofit website where we have info on there. And, you know, we're always looking for corporate sponsors and corporate partnerships. So.
And people that just want to make a difference in our community. Yep. You know, it's great that we go to Chicago and Westerly, Rhode Island, and Rochester, New York, but we need some partners in our backyard, because there's children in Lancaster City. I just got a call last week. Paradise, another call 2 weeks ago. Reading. We have immediate needs in our own backyard, and we would love to help them.
Yeah. Any final thoughts about science?
You know what? Let your children get dirty. I would say, let them explore. Let them, you know, find the wonder in the world, because kids don't go out and dig in the dirt. They don't creek stomp like we did. It's really changed. You know, everybody has their electronic devices and things like that, and there's a lot of science right outside your back door. Yeah. You know, go find it. I don't care where you find your science. Find it. It's a good world out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom of 3 boys. We're always doing kitchen experiments all the time. So just have fun with it.
It is. And Science Explorers, if it's not fun,
we're not doing it.
We're going to have fun. We're Science Explorers.
Hi, this is Solar Sarah with a Moment of Science, and we're here with Whale Will doing another fun experiment. This is another at-home experiment. You need some hydrogen peroxide and some dry active yeast that you can get at the grocery store. Now, first things first, whenever we do any kind of science experiments, we have to do what?
Put on our goggles.
Put on our goggles to protect our eyes, because we never know what might happen, huh?
Yeah.
Now, we're also going to use our powers of observation, which is like our 5 senses. We're going to use our eyes to see. So what do we see, Will? What do you see in front of you?
A cup of, it looks like red water.
Looks like red water, too. Yeah, so we could say it's a red liquid. And then we have another little cup here. What do you see in there?
It looks like sand.
A little bit like sand. Good observation. Now, you want to feel it a little bit? You could use your sense of feel. You always want to check with an adult to make sure it's okay to touch. But this is okay to touch. How's it feel? A little bit like sand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about any smell? Can you smell? Use your power, smell? You had smell anything? A little bit of an odor?
Yeah.
All right. We never taste anything, though, in science unless somebody says it's okay. Never, ever, ever use our taste. All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to dump this into our big tube here, and we're going to see what happens. But all scientists make a good prediction. What do you think's going to happen, Will?
I think it's going to explode.
You think it's going to explode. All right. Well, let's see what happens. Would you take that and pour that in the top? Careful not to spill any. Try to get it in there. All right, and we are going to mix it around a little bit to get the process started. Give it a little mixture here. What do you see starting to happen?
It's starting to go up.
It's starting to go up?
Yeah.
So maybe not an explosion, but do we have a reaction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's use our sense of touch, too, and see if you feel. Can you feel anything?
No. Feels
Down here a little bit. Sometimes, usually if we can get to it, oh, there's a little bit. Gives off a little bit of heat, too. This is an experiment, gives off a little bit of heat. Do you remember what that's called? When it gives off a little bit of heat? Oh, messy. We call it what? Exothermic, steaming hot. And this is another moment of science with Solar Sarah and Whale Will. Oh, look at that go.
Science is all around us. Join Science Explorers as we go day tripping. Hi, we're at the Elmwood Park Zoo in Norristown, Pennsylvania, where we're going to go check out some animals. And wait till you see, they have a sanctuary here that will take care of all sick eagles all over the country. They come here.
And all the trees right there. See, that's where we're going to head to look at the eagles.
All right, come on over. Guys, look what we have here. Hi, Michael. I'm Jupiter Jen with Science Explorers, and I brought my friends here today. This is Hurricane Haley, Proton Paige, and Magnetic Melody, along with Decibel Devin. So what kind of snake do you have here?
This is Rocky. He's our red-tailed boa constrictor, and they're usually found around South America.
That sounds fascinating. Can you take us inside and show us some more stuff?
Sure.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Michael. You ready? What do you feel like?
Look at that. Melanie, what is this?
This is the skin of a lizard, sort of like Lester, that you can just touch to see what he feels like.
And how old is Lester?
Lester's about 5 years old. He's fully grown. He won't really get any bigger, but he has this really cool thing he does when he's frightened or scared. He can actually puff himself up, so he looks very intimidating. You can see he has these loose flaps of skin here. And when he's frightened, he'll get a lot bigger, and he'll actually get a darker color.
Ooh. And so that would be his defense mechanism,
yes.
You know how some animals change colors to, like the squid, when they try to get away, they squirt their ink, but they also can change colors if they're afraid. Very cool. Yeah. Emily and Melanie, thank you for sharing that with us. Awesome. Very cool. Should we go see the turtles?
Let's go see the turtle.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. She's a leopard tortoise.
Comes all the way from Africa.
Yep. Can you guys say hi to Leah?
Hi, Leah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You guys know the main difference between
No.
turtles and tortoises?
No.
Well, do you see how smooth this snapping turtle shell is? You guys can feel that if you want. It makes it easier for them to swim because turtles spend almost their entire life in the water, and tortoises spend their life on land.
Yep, and another difference is that tortoises are herbivores, which means they only eat plants, while turtles are omnivores, which means they eat plants and animals.
Ooh. Wow. Now he's an herbivore?
Yes, she.
Do you guys have any other questions about her?
Where does Leah live in the zoo here?
She's actually like a behind-the-scenes tortoise, so she lives with the other education animals.
Yep, she's not on
She has special accommodations.
You don't see her at birthday parties and this kind of thing.
She's like a movie star for the Elmwood Park Zoo.
Yeah, it's pretty special to see her out today.
Oh my goodness. And do you see how she protects herself, guys? If she feels that danger is nearby, she pulls in her legs and she pulls in her head. You can actually see how it's really soft underneath her. Her bones are kind of on the outside so that she can be protected.
And you see how scaly that is? It's supposed to be kind of like armor for her.
Ooh.
It's very roomy in there. You can see if you pull her head in.
Yes.
Very cool.
She's like a nice room when she goes in there. So, well, I'll tell you what. Leah, the lizard tortoise, is leopard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, leopard tortoise because of the leopard. Yes, and she has. What a great! It's very fashionable this year.
Oh yeah.
So fabulous! Thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
her with us. Thanks. Thanks for your time, Michael.
Oh, no problem.
Michael, I'm a big fan of the Elmwood Park Zoo. I've been coming here since I was very young. But can you tell me some of the history?
Well, the Elmwood Park Zoo is presently celebrating its 88th anniversary. How it started was we started with 14 white-tailed deer that were donated to the Elmwood Park. And eventually, in 1924, the Elmwood Park Zoo was established, and it was run by the borough of Norristown. After that, during 1965, the zoo was transferred over to the Norristown Zoological Society.
We have a program at Science Explorers called Animals Nobody Loves. Can you tell us about a few animals here that nobody loves?
Well, there is the black vulture. If you look around the zoo on a regular day, you'll see a lot of them in trees. Black vultures are seen as ugly birds, but they're very important to the environment. What they are scavengers, and they would eat dead meat, carrion, and what they would do is, to prevent bacteria infection, anything like that, they would get rid of the dead carcasses of animals.
So it's a whole recycling program within themselves. Fabulous. What are some other animals that nobody loves around the zoo but are pretty cool?
Skunks are one of them. They are seen, as bad because they smell, but in actuality, they're very good. They do clean up the environment a lot. Another one's rats. Rats can be seen as a pest, but in actuality, they're very good pets as well.
And they're very bright.
They are very smart. That's why I guess they've survived for so long. Another one I would have to say would be bats.
Right.
Bats do knock down the insect population so that we wouldn't have a lot of mosquito bites on us during the summer.
You have owls here at the Elmwood Park Zoo. It's an animal that a lot of people don't know a lot about. Can they really turn their head around?
Well, actually, they can. A cool thing about them, their heads, a lot of people see them turn on a full circle, like a 360. They actually turn it on a 270 degree.
Okay.
One of the reasons why they turn their head is because their eyes are abnormally large. If we were to have eyes that large, it would possibly take up our forehead.
Ooh.
So, because of those eyes, they can't turn their eyes well, like we have peripheral vision. So they have to have a method to turn their complete head around.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Now, do you ever pick up the owl pellets from the zoo?
Oh yeah, we actually use them in our education hubs, which we bring around the zoo, show kids. They actually get to touch them. Of course, they wash their hands afterwards. But yeah, we do collect them. Cool thing about owls is the reason why they cough up pellets is that they could digest anything but fur and bones.
That's what, and we do a program where we do dissections with the owl pellets, and it's always very interesting because the children always think that it's the poop, but it isn't. It is a fur ball. It's like the fur balls that your cats might cough up. I know you have a great prairie dog exhibit here at the zoo. Can you tell us a little bit about them? They have an interesting story.
Oh, well, the prairie dogs are located at the back end of the zoo. They were introduced a while ago along with the black-footed ferrets and the owls, the desert owls around there. They're usually found around the Great Plains, New Mexico, Nebraska, and they were actually seen as a major nuisance to farmers around there because prairie dogs dig tunnels. They dig very large tunnels, about maximum they could get 14 feet down in the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And usually cattle would sometimes stick their leg in the hole and break their leg. So farmers, because of them hunting them down, the population died down and they are threatened.
Really? I didn't know they were threatened. But it makes sense. They're trying to protect their livelihood. And so we have to protect them now.
And because of that, prairie dogs was one of the things that black-footed ferrets ate. And that's the reason why they almost became extinct. So it's like a chain.
But aren't black-footed ferrets and prairie dogs about the same size?
Yep, they're about the same size, but usually black-footed ferrets and prairie dogs live in small groups.
Ah, they hunt in packs, kind of?
Yeah, they hunt in packs and they eat the whole prairie dog.
Holy cow. Michael, grateful to be here with the Eagle Sanctuary, and it's near and dear to my heart because it's our national symbol. But can you tell us a little bit more, because it's a phenomenal sanctuary here?
Well, this Eagle Sanctuary is the second largest in the United States. It is also a very good conservation effort. What we do is Fish and Wildlife Services usually finds eagles that are injured and they can't survive in the wild anymore. So they rehabilitate them and then bring them to zoos. And this is one of the rehabilitation areas that we have. And all the eagles in here are injured. Like a wing's broken, part of a wing's missing. So they wouldn't be able to survive in the wild.
Wonderful. And what is the status on the bald eagle right now?
The status on the bald eagle is threatened. It's not endangered anymore because of the protection services that the United States has provided and the Fish and Wildlife Services has provided. The population has risen to, recorded in 1999, around 5,000.
Wonderful.
So it's been climbing.
Wonderful. All right. Now, reduce, reuse, recycle is one of Science Explorer's mottos. We love to be Earth Guards. Can you tell us what kind of recycling programs you do here at the Elmwood Park Zoo?
Well, we actually have a whole program called TerraCycle, and what it is, we recycle certain things like spent yogurt cups, toothpaste caps. If you ever ate a bag of Lay's potato chips, the bag itself, and we basically send them to a facility, they recycle them, and then they send money to our non-for-profit.
I know that you have a large assortment of animals here at the Elmwood Park Zoo. Can you tell me some of the favorites?
Well, a lot of the favorites are the larger animals. We have cougars, jaguars, and we have bison, which is the biggest land mammal in North America.
Now tell me about the bison, relative of the buffalo.
They're relative of the buffalo. Buffalo were extinct during, became extinct during the big western expansion, but bison are now the prevalent one that you see now.
So they're like cousins?
Yes, they're like cousins. They're a smaller breed.
Smaller breed. All right. Hey, Michael, I want to thank you. You have been a terrific tour guide today at the Elmwood Park Zoo.
Oh, no problem.
I want to thank you and thank the Elmwood Park Zoo for all their hospitality. We've learned about our furry friends and our feathered friends, why we need to recycle, and why we need to take care of all those animals around us. So thanks for joining us for another trip of Day Tripping with Science Explorers. If you want to check things out, check out elmwoodparkzoo.org, and please come out and visit us. It's a great day. Thank you for joining us at the Elmwood Park Zoo in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Hi, and welcome to A Moment of Science with Jupiter Jen and Sunshine Stephanie. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to use some kitchen chemistry to make some cleaning fun. So what we're going to do is we're working with citric acid, baking soda. These are things you can find actually in the grocery store. And some glycerin, which I think you have to find in maybe a drugstore or something like that. Can you dump this in here? We're going to mix all these things together. This is the citric acid. Just dump it on in. And then we're going to dump in the baking soda. Go ahead. And I'll just stir it as you're pouring it in. We're making a chemical reaction, Sunshine stuff. Another one of these. And what's going to happen is citric acid is an acid and baking soda is a base. And when you mix them together, you usually get a cool chemical reaction, but you have to have some liquid in there. So can you put these Pop Rocks in here? That's not part of the liquid yet. But we are going to make some fizzy bath bombs. So just dump the whole thing in. And can you dump the next one in? Now, these are Pop Rocks that we're working with. Would you ever eat them with citric acid and baking soda?
No.
No, probably not a good idea. Well, you can put that in there too. Did we dump all of them? There we go. Actually, all of this is edible until we get to the glycerin, and then you'll be blowing bubbles while you eat. So that's why we never eat anything in science. So can you dump that glycerin in there for me? And what's going to happen is this will make it a soap product so that you can then take this into the bathroom. You can keep it right next to the sink. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, do you want to pour that in there too? I think we are getting a chemical reaction. Very cool. Do you see anything happening?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
It's like
It's
all
foaming up.
foam.
Okay, what I want you to do is we are going in for the chemical reaction. Can you grab a handful? Your hand's going to get dirty, but it's all part of science. Grab it in there. Throw some in there for me. You might have to dip your hand in there. And listen. Do you hear anything? Part of science. Because when we put these fizzy bath bombs in there, what's happening is our Pop Rocks and everything is reacting. So this will clean your skin while giving you a little massage in the tub. Is that pretty cool? You want to dip your whole hand in there? Do you feel it? How cool is that?
Cool.
Very cool. All right. This is Sunshine Stephanie and Jupiter Jen with another moment of science. The Science Explorers. Thank you. This is Science Explorers, and if it's not fun, we're not doing it! Thank you for joining us at Science Explorers. This program was brought to you today by the Sparks Foundation, inspiring young minds through science. Check out our experiments at scienceexplorers.com if you want to recreate any of the things you see on today's show. And join us next time for discoveries and adventures, because remember, if it's not fun, we're not doing it.